What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and we're back with some more Punishing Gray Raven. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about Phantom Pain Cage, maybe give some ideas to some teams and some memories that you can use, especially for your starter teams. But before we talk any more about that, I want S. Karenina. This is a character that I truly love. I just love Karenina so much. I just love her spunky attitude. I love the way she just blows the shit out of everything. She's just a super fun character to play. And S. Karenina is the same way for me. I think this character is awesome. She is the fire goddess, has the highest damage as far as your fire team is concerned, and I want this character so much just because she's freaking cool. So I went ahead and I did spend $10 in the top-up shop to go ahead and be able to get these things here because I already had some rainbow cards left over from a purchase I made a little while back. So we're going to go ahead and queue this up and pray to God that I can get her, because I mean, I'm not going to get her. If I don't get her in these 10 pulls, then I'm just pretty much crap out of luck because I can't spend these black cards that I already have on her because I'm actually saving for S. Bianca. And if you're free to play, that's what you should be doing too. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Please, God, let me get her. Please, God, let me get her. Please, God. Now, we know we're going to get an A-rank character, but I really am praying for my girl, man. Please, man. Cue it up. Cue it up. Come on. That's good. That's good. I'll take that. All right. That's nice. That's nice. That's actually really good. That's really good. That's really going to help the support for B Bianca, or for S Bianca, when she comes into the game. So it's not looking good. Doesn't look like we're going to get old girl. Man. Bummer. I mean, that's good. I mean, you could farm for those shards, but still. Yeah. I mean, it's good that I got Liv, but it's a real bum deal that we didn't get S. Karenina. What a bummer. So let's talk about Phantom Pain Cage. Okay. So in Phantom Pain Cage, I'm going to show you guys 3 teams that you can use. So when you're facing Phantom Pain Cage, you'll notice that a lot of these bosses have certain weaknesses against certain elements, and they'll also give you certain advantages or disadvantages against certain characters that you're going to play with. So in Musashi's case here, whenever you bring in a tank actually is going to get an increased damage received whenever he faces Musashi. Whenever you're facing Alpha, Rosetta is going to get a buff whenever she faces Alpha, even though Rosetta isn't in the game yet. She will be coming in the future. And then against Iron Maiden, dark damage actually does more damage to this boss. So in these 3 particular bosses, those are things to always keep in mind whenever you're playing. And we're just going to talk about starter teams. Now, when you're using starter teams, all of us are a little different places in the game. All of us might, some of us might spend money. Some of us might be free to play. If you're free to play, you're going to have B Lucia, you're going to have B Liv, you're going to have B Bianca, and you're going to have B Nanami. You'll get all 4 of those characters completely for free when you're playing for this game, right? And whenever you use your black cards for certain wrestling characters, like a lot of us used our black cards for Alpha, we ended up getting some pulls for our A-rank characters, and maybe you got some other characters along the way. Now, I'm going to show you the characters that I'm using and the builds that I'm using on them to get as many points as possible. Now, whenever you're facing the test mode, you're trying to get up to 12,500 points. It's virtually impossible. I mean, even when you do a quick one shot, it's almost impossible to get the max score. But what I try to do is I try to hit that 12,000 marker if I can. And for Musashi here, this is a team that I actually use. Now, it's really going to depend on the characters that you have. You want to use the weakest characters possible against these bosses. So in my case, Fire God Lee is actually one of my weaker characters. And, I do have about 4,200 BP, and I'm going to be using A Liv, and I'm going to be using A Lucia. The reason I'm going to use all these characters is, one, they're all elemental based, so they all can kind of feed off each other. Lee is going to be my main damage dealer, and the way that I have them built is, for Lee, I am using the Hannah set, and then we just got the ice in the set so we can decrease the elemental damage received. So it's going to be really important to trigger his core passive, so that way he can do a lot more damage as far as elemental is concerned. And then as far as A Liv here, now A Liv isn't built worth a crap. I mean, she isn't built at all, but I do have a Da Vinci set on her, so that way we can trigger our other QTE from our other character, bring them both in at the same time, and all of these debuff effects that we have that decrease the elemental resistance. I mean, in A-Liv's case, I do have the Glorious set. This is not the best set. Actually, Guinevere would be a lot better. We'd get more of an increase to all elemental damage, but unfortunately, I don't have that. And you see the way those things are leveled up. And then for Lucia here, we're just running this set right here. Now notice these things aren't leveled up at all, right? I just want them for the debuff because Lee's going to be my main damage dealer, and because I'm going to be bringing in a Lucia as for her QTE to do damage. She is going to be, applying all these, elemental resistance down. She's got the Ike for a little extra damage here. And then we got the Voltaire set to decrease the defense down. Again, this isn't the best set. I mean, the Catherine set is a better version of this set right here. And the Einstein set is actually a better version of this set right here. But these are the only cards, the memories that I have. So these are the ones that I'm going to use them. We just want them for the debuff. We just want to apply as much debuff as possible whenever we're playing with Lee. So I'll jump in here. We'll just do a little trial run here. And notice I got Liv in the blue support. Whatever character you have the Da Vinci set on, that's the character that you want in a certain orb, And actually, to trigger Lee's core passive, we got to do a yellow orb into a red orb. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch these characters around. That way, when we do our yellow orb, we'll bring in A Liv here. She'll apply those debuffs, and we'll also apply the Da Vinci set. And then we'll bring in Lucia at the same time. And then whenever Lee goes into his core passive, he's going to be able to apply, all those debuffs are going to be applied while he's doing all of his damage at once. So we're going to be hoping for a yellow orb and a red orb to do this right. Okay, good. Trigger that. And look at that. Look at all that damage that we're getting right there. Okay, so we're just going to keep attacking until our matrix is ready to go again. We need a red orb. And boom, right? And let's see what kind of score we got here. That wasn't perfect. That could have been a little bit better, actually. I should have triggered the yellow orb. That would have been better instead of that blue orb there. But I mean, 12,000, right? 12,000. Which, you know what? We're just going to go ahead and save that score, right? That's a pretty good score. And then we have Alpha here. Now, for Alpha, I actually use a different team because I really want to use a different QTE striker because I want to stun Alpha. And ACOM always a really great choice for that. To kind of CC her so that way she isn't moving around all over the place. I find that sometimes I lose a little damage because of that. And the team that I like to use for Alpha is this one right here. And again, you always want to use your weakest characters. My Bianca isn't built up very well. My Akamoi is not built up very well. You see their BP levels. They're just not jacked up very well at all. As far as the memories that I'm using, I'm going to be using the patent memories with the Darwin. Not optimal for B Lucia, but she is 80% physical, so it is a really good set for her. And then for Bianca here, actually the set you just looked at would have been really good for Bianca, but we're going to use the Einstein set to decrease the physical defense down and apply that debuff. Again, your two supporting characters, the two characters that use it for your QTEs, you want to have as many debuff memories on them. One character with a Da Vinci, so that way you can bring in both characters at the same time to do their QTEs, and both of them having some kind of debuff on them that's going to really help the damage dealer. And B Lucia's case, being 80% physical, this is really going to help a lot. And then A Kamoi, we got the Voltaire set, right? And that's going to help with the debuff as well. Now, I got A Kamoi in the blue spot, but it really doesn't matter if he's in the blue or the yellow, because when it comes to B Lucia, any 3 ping and then into her red ping will activate her core passive, and then she's going to be doing dual blades, and she's going to be doing a lot of damage. So what we want to hope here is that we're going to get a yellow orb, and then we're going to get a red orb to start off this fight with. And if we do, we might be able to one-shot Alpha right off the very beginning. So we're going to do that again because I didn't get the orbs that I need. I need a blue orb and I need a red orb to really make this work. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to wait for Alpha to attack. This is kind of the thing about Alpha. It's kind of funky. And now she's stunned, right? And look at that. One-shotted right down. And that's pretty much what you're trying to do. We'll see what kind of score we get. Hopefully we get with 12,000. If I get 12,000, I'll go ahead and save it. Not bad, 12,080. I've gotten a little bit better than that, but we'll go ahead and save that score. And then we're going to go into the test mode against Iron Maiden. Now, Iron Maiden, we're going to use another different team because this boss is actually weak to dark damage. And guess who we're going to use for our dark damage dealing team. Oh yeah, you know what's up. Right, we're going to be using this team right here. Right, we're going to be using Karenina. We're going to be using Kamoi here. S Kamoi because he's 50% physical, 50% dark. And then we're going to use, of course, Dark Watanabe because he's the big time dark damage dealer. And as far as memories, my Watanabe, I mean, you guys already know this. He's got a 4-piece Bathlon with 2-piece Darwin. I've been leveling up. I almost got this thing completely maxed out. And then we have Karenina here, who we're going to put a Da Vinci set on. And if I had an Aisina set, I would slap that on her. But I'm actually going to give the Aisina to Escamoy. For Karenina, we're just going to put these Catherines on her. That way we'll get a debuff for our physical defense, which Watanabe is 50% physical and 50% dark, although he's going to be dealing dark damage the way we're going to play him. And then Escamoy here is going to be running the Hannah set with the Aisina. There we go. And we got Karenina in the blue, so the way this is going to work, just like the 2 previous runs that you all watched, these 2 characters are going to be applying all those debuffs, while our main damage dealer is the one trying to do that one shot, trying to take them all the way down. And as you progress further, as you get into the higher stages, you know, I would change up these teams. These are not the max teams. These are just nice little starter teams that you can use if you have these characters available. Some people are only going to have 2 characters, and you're not going to be able to do this. But you can apply this method no matter what. I mean, if you only have 3 characters, you can have 1 character with a Da Vinci set, 1 character with a damage dealing set, you know, have debuffs on both of those characters, debuff memories on both those characters, and then you have your main damage dealer with a damage dealing memory set, their optimal damage dealing memory set. And you'll be able to pretty much melt through this. And in the situation that we have right now, because she's in the blue and she's got the Da Vinci, we want to get a blue orb and then go into the red, right? And then we'll be able to bring in Kamoy, Karenina all at the same time, apply all those debuffs all at the same time. So let's see how this works. So we got to do that again because we didn't get a blue orb. We need a blue orb and a red orb to really make this work. Okay, there we go. We got it. We got it. So we're going to try to go into the matrix, apply our debuffs, and then go ahead and just start melting with Watanabe. And that wasn't a good run at all. I probably won't end up saving this one. I guarantee this team could easily do, you know, 12,200, 12,300 maybe. I mean, we did get 12,000, so it's actually a pretty good score. I'm actually going to save cancel it because I do believe we can do better, but you get the gist, right? You get the gist of what we're doing. We're trying to do one-shots, and you'll be able to do the same thing throughout the later stages. It's just, it's going to get a lot harder. You're going to need a lot stronger characters to be able to do this. But if you're trying to get the highest score possible, like all together, you know, you're trying to get as much of these points as possible, this is a good way to do it. It's quick and easy as long as you have certain memories. And, you know, and like I said, if you only have, you know, the 4 characters that you get for free, be Lucia, be Liv, be Nanami, and Bianca, you could do the same thing. You could use 2 constructs, put a debuff memory set on 1 construct while your other construct is your main damage dealer, and do that for both teams. So like if you're using Lee as your main damage dealer, you know, you could just put another construct in the blue slot, and then you'll trigger his core passive, go into his red orb, apply the debuffs from the QTE character, and do an insane amount of damage. That's how you do a lot of damage in this game. It's very important to apply those debuffs before you're entering your core passes to do as much damage as possible. So hopefully this will help some of you out there as far as, you know, maybe setting up some early teams to do as many points as possible. And even if you're not worried about, you know, the test runs, the very beginning, because they are really, really easy for most characters, pretty much most people are going to plow through them. But again, if you're trying to get that 12,000 plus, that's pretty much how you're going to have to do it. And these methods can still help you when you get in the harder modes like Hell and Chaos. So hopefully this will help some of you out there, and I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT plus 7 time. The link will be in the description below, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See ya.